So maybe let me ask it differently now, as to whether you get to intervene if there are problems where an employee is given more responsibilities. So as a placement company, do you find that you have to intervene at some point or another?
Yes, I always do. I tell my clients that when they have problems, they should let me know. They receive a template that has a few pointers that they have to mention. They always complete it in the first 3 months of their probation. After probation, when they have any concerns or any challenges, they can contact me. The housekeepers also contact me when they have problems at work and they are invited in. I do speak to them and try to engage the employer as well. I do mediation.
So your clients are both sides of the coin. The employer is also a client who came to you to look for a nanny and a housekeeper, whatever the case may be. The employees as well, those are your clients as well. They were trained by you.
And I always make sure that I understand both sides because I have been in corporate and because I'm an employer. I try to understand what the employers are going through. I try to understand what the housekeepers are going through. I had a workshop in 2018. I called it Madam and Eve, to explain to the housekeepers everything that the employer is going through so that they understand that the employer is not being nasty, but they just want their homes organized. The employer is not being nasty when she comes back from work and doesn't have a chat with you. Understand that there should be boundaries. Your employer is not your friend. Welcome her with a cup of coffee, cup of tea or water, and make sure that you have bathed the kids, you have supervised their homework, and you will tuck them in before they go to bed. And when the employer wants to ask you for any favors, like sleep with the baby today, I have an assignment, please agree to help her so that your working relationship is smooth and she will thank you. Thanking means they will give her an incentive or maybe extra money for the extra work that she did on that day. So I always intervene and make sure that they understand each other.
But can the employee check if that kind of incentive is going to come through?
Yes, they do check with the employer. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't get it.
In your training of housekeepers or nannies or domestic workers, do you train them to be assertive, to be able to say if they are not satisfied with the extra requirements that they may be given along the way, if that is not going to be compensated? Do you train them to be able to speak up to say, yes, sir, yes, madam, but are you going to compensate me further for this?
I train them to be polite and ask if they will be incentivized for it. I don't train them to be assertive, because when you try to train people who are not as educated, when you try to train them to be assertive, they tend to be arrogant. So they are trained on speaking up and finding clarity.
Okay, so let's also talk further about placements that you do. Do employers come to you with a set of requirements to say, I'm looking for this kind of a housekeeper or nanny or domestic worker? Can you find a person like this from your group of people that you have trained?
Yes. Most people would say to me, I'm looking for a nanny for my daughter, or I'm looking for a housekeeper. I ask them their requirements. People have different requirements. They need to tell me if they want a Sotho-speaking person, a person from Lesotho, South Africa, Swaziland, Zimbabwe, or Malawi. Then I ask for the age group that they prefer. The other question is, how old are your children? What type of games do they play? What type of meals do they enjoy? Where are you based? Where are you based is asked because I place nationally. I have clients from Polokwane, Gauteng, KZN, Kimberley, and a few overseas. So a client needs to give me clear requirements of what they are looking for. I've just added something else on my requirements. I need them to mention the religious denomination they prefer. Sometimes when I place people, I would be told that I don't like this lady because she's ZCC, or I don't like this person because she's apostolic. So I've added that I need my clients to tell me if they prefer people who are Roman Catholics or born-again Christians. We are diverse. I'm able to place for everybody. I have helpers who are ZCC, helpers who are apostolic. Most Lesotho ladies are Roman Catholics, and a few from Zimbabwe are apostolic, and others go to the White Garment Church. So the employer needs to tell me her preferences. There's another issue with spiritual beliefs. I get clients who say, we don't want helpers who use muti. I have helpers who use muti. I have helpers who don't use muti. But I tell them not to use muti in other people's homes because they can't be taking their staffs in my clients' homes. But then you get a helper going to a client's home. She doesn't use muti. When she gets there, they ban their staff and they say it's for their protection. So I need the client to understand that if I give a person that doesn't use muti, that person does not tolerate muti. She also must not use muti at her house. But if she wants to use muti at her house, but doesn't want a helper to use muti, that's okay. And it makes a lot of sense. You cannot have a helper who will use muti in your house or try and manipulate you or your children with muti. But they should also understand that helpers do not like employers who use muti when they are born-again Christians and they are made to wash a bathtub that has muti, or they are made to smell everything that they burn in their homes.
That's quite a mouthful, and it does show that you do have a lot to deal with, and you have to check out a lot of things, when it comes to the people that you must place. But do you sometimes have to deal with situations where an employee, a helper, has to be fired from their employment?
Yes. Sometimes I have to do the firing.
You do the firing yourself?
Yes. When I have to do it, I place a helper and I tell the client that I've trained that person, and that person is good in housekeeping, good in child minding, she can cook, and the helper gets there and she refuses to cook. I will call the helper, speak to her, and explain that when you were employed to cook as well, and your salary includes cooking. And she decides that she will not cook, and when the employer comes back from work, the kids have not eaten, the meat is not defrosted, and she's sitting in her room playing on her phone. In those situations, I have to replace with a person who is ready to do everything that the client requires. I have to call the helper that I thought went there to work to ask her to please pack her bags and be relieved of her duties so that I can replace with a person who needs to work.
Are you responsible as a placement company for the salaries of helpers?
I'm not responsible for paying the salaries, but I'm responsible for with telling the helper how much she will be getting paid at work. I'm also responsible with giving guidelines to my clients. I take the guidelines from the Department of Labor website. They always inform people every year that this is the stipulated salary for housekeepers this year. That is on the forms that the clients get. It was advertised this year on the 1st of March that all helpers have to get 3,750. Some clients pay that, some other clients pay way more than that. Other clients still want to pay 2,500 because they say food is expensive. Others are saying their children are big, they're able to make their own beds, or they say that they pay 2,500 because they give the helper free accommodation and free food.
You mentioned something about, neighboring countries like Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Botswana. How do you deal with the legal issues around the employment of people from neighboring companies? Do you find that it's difficult to deal with that kind of a situation? Or is it plain sailing for you because you're already in the business? You've been there for like 21 years.
No, it's never easy. You get people from Zimbabwe who are in South Africa who are looking for employment and do not have passports. I cannot assist people who do not have passports. I can assist people who do not have any identification. And because they're desperate, they'll go to Pretoria and try to get asylums. I don't use fake asylums from Pretoria because they're all stamped the 20th of February, and I know that they are done from a person's house who claims to be working from Home Affairs, and he charges Zimbabweans 300 rands. I do not register those. With Lesotho people, I get a lot of Lesotho people who do not have work permits. I assist them with finding employment. Then I give them contract of employment, and the employer has to sign and give them a letter of employment. They can then go to Home Affairs and apply for a work permit.
So the contracts that get signed by helpers and employers have to come from you. Employers and helpers do not exchange contracts between themselves.
My package includes an employment contract. The reason I do that is because every employee has to have an employment contract. The employer has an employment contract from wherever she works from. She has to sign an employment contract with the housekeeper as well. So to make sure that that is done, I send it to the employer and I also send it to the to the employee.
I do see that you are nationwide. You are providing a service nationally.
I place nationally, meaning the offices are based in Johannesburg. My clients are national. My clients interview housekeepers on Zoom or on video call. They pay a placement fee and they also pay transport costs, meaning after they have employed a helper, they will pay me placement fee for services and pay transport fare. It can be an airplane fare ticket or a bus ticket or taxi if the person is based in Cape Town or Durban. If a person has to go overseas, they will assist with visa. If a person is placed in Polokwane, the client will send transport money if the person has to go to either Marble Hall or Petersburg or any other city in Polokwane. We do go to different provinces every second month to do training. I'll be going to Polokwane on the 28th of October.
Because I'm talking to you from Polokwane, what should people from Polokwane expect from you? What do you want people from Polokwane to prepare for this workshop?
I'm attending a workshop in Polokwane on the 28th. I'm sleeping over on the 29th. It will be a Sunday, but I'll be there. And on the 30th, it will be a Monday. Whoever who wants to register for employment can register, and I will register them and train them there. And whoever who wants a trained housekeeper will just complete a form and interview housekeepers that are already trained and are at my accommodation. I train 12 helpers per week. I accommodate them, and interviews are done on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
So are you going to get to engage with potential employers as well in Polokwane?
Yes, I'll be attending a workshop there with Christian Business Women Network. Most of my clients are on that group, and others have known me before joining the group. I have my relatives and family at Louis Trichardt, and I did a lot of placements there.
How can people get hold of Intombi Domestics and Corporate Delta Services?
Our website address is www.intombiservices.com, and then my cell phone number is 073-608-6448. My administrator's number is 061-443-8134. He does most of the placements. When clients come through my phone, I send them a template. I send candidates that meet her requirements, and the administrator who's using 061-443-8134, his name is Dennis, will coordinate the interviews. The other administrator, who is situated at our offices in Centurion, Forest Hill Mall, his number is 081-700-3291. His name is Nkanka. Nkanka is responsible for registering candidates looking for employment. His number is 081-700-3291. 061 number, the person who is responsible for the 061 number is Dennis. Dennis is my husband. He does placements. His number is 061-443-8134. My number 073-608-6448. I'm available on WhatsApp from 9 o'clock until 5:30. My email address is nonkululeko@intombiservices.com.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, let us also look at the spelling of Intombi, because when you say that,
Intombi,
people
yes,
might not be aware that it's double I in the beginning.
Yes, Intombi, it's double INTOMBI. Services, SERVICES.com.
All right, that
On
should
the
be very clear
website,
now.
you go www.intombi, INTOMBISERVICES.com. The website is for clients who are looking for housekeepers. They can complete an online form there. People who are looking for employment cannot complete an online form. We need to see them in person, complete their forms in person, ask them questions, do their training, do their reference checks, and take their fingerprints for criminal record checks. We don't do registrations online. It has to be in person.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Mogotsi. If there's anything else you want to say, let me give you this opportunity, and then we're going to wrap up.
This company is very different. I'm passionate about this business. I make sure that the housekeepers that I place are stable at work and they're able to take care of their children, build houses, pay school fees. I make sure that the clients that I place for are getting value for their money. They are sure that when they get home, their children will be well looked after. She can spend time with hubby. She will be able to focus on her studies. She will be able to run her business. And when she has a problem, she can contact me and make sure that we make the home run smoothly, make sure that the relationship is stable, and make sure that they have a long-lasting relationship. Thank you for this opportunity. I have been nominated for the Kwena Award, and I'll be going for my awards on the 9th and 10th of November next month.
Is there anything people can do about that? Should they vote for you, or what do you want to say about these awards? Can we participate in that to make sure that you get all the points to win the award?
They can follow me on Facebook. They'll get all the details on there. I know that I will be getting this award. I've worked very hard and tirelessly.
So on Facebook, people can follow you on 2 pages, right?
They can follow me on the Indombi Domestics and Corporate Delta Services, not on the personal Facebook. When people want to be my friends on my personal Facebook, I do not accept Facebook requests, friend requests. But I do accept people following me on the business Facebook. If they have anything to ask on the Facebook inbox, they can ask any question and we will respond. We are very transparent. If they want to ask anything using the 073 number, they can just mention that they heard this on radio and I'll give them all the answers.